Hello, I'm Ronnie Eldridge. Welcome to Eldridge Company. You know those people who say, been there, done that? Well, Betsy Wade is not one of them, although she's certainly been there and done that. And I'm not talking about her weekly traveler column in the Sunday Times that, incidentally, I loved. But I've always followed your career, and I've always thought you had the most wonderful life. So welcome, and I'm delighted you're here.
Well, thank you so much. But you had the wonderful life.
No,
I mean,
come on.
Think of being in politics
But
that
I
way.
never decided to go into that, and you decided at some point in your life to become a journalist or something connected with newspapers, right?
In 7th grade?
In 7th grade, that's
In
what I wanted to know.
7th grade, you weren't deciding to run for the council?
No. But in 7th grade, you decided you wanted to work for a newspaper?
Yes.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Westchester. I was born in New York City, but my parents moved out to the lovely schools. It didn't cost an awful lot more than other lovely schools, other places. And it was wartime. You remember that? And they invented the wallpaper before the Chinese even invented the wallpaper, because we couldn't have a junior high newspaper to distribute. So they had a newspaper that was put on a bulletin board on the wall. And the first time I saw a kid
We didn't have paper because of the shortage.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was no ink, no paper, no capacity, no nothing. So it was typed out neatly, and it was posted on the bulletin board with thumbtacks. And the first time I saw someone standing there reading what I had written and laughing, I was a goner. I figured, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to make people laugh.
Oh, so it was more laughing than
No, it was
news.
the audience.
It was the whole
Isn't
thing.
the audience?
Yeah.
You want to know that somebody is listening to what you have to say.
And you had a lot of things to say.
In 7th grade, how much could I have had to
I
say?
don't know. But then you went on to high school and college, and you went to Barnard, where I went to college.
That's right.
Did you work on the newspaper there?
I did work on the newspaper there.
Yeah.
Did you work on the newspaper at Barnard?
No.
Oh, shucks.
I just had boyfriends that worked on the newspaper at The Spectator at Columbia.
Okay.
But you see, that's the difference between us, and that's what I'm so interested. I never thought about what I was going to do, except I was going to get married. And at one point, I really thought it would be nice to marry a foreign correspondent, but I never thought I could be a foreign correspondent.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Because I had the feeling always when we were going to Barnard, as at Hunter, that they were saying, you will do.
Oh, yeah. Millicent McIntosh did everything, right?
Right.
She had all those children, the great job. She was the dean of the college and later president.
And her aunt told her, you can have your babies in the summer.
Right.
And she indeed went ahead and had babies in the summer. I think there was one inconvenient time where she had a baby during the school year.
Somebody took care of them, right? So it was very easy. But you went, your first job, did you work for a paper while you were in college? Other than the college paper?
You really couldn't. The internships, I think, in those days were either unknown or so hard to find. You had to have an uncle who owned a newspaper who said, come along, sweetie, we'll let you do something.
Because it wasn't a very easy job for a woman.
No, it was, it was a strange and alien world. And when I went to the graduate school of journalism after I graduated from Barnard, they had, 65 students in our class and 10 were women, and that was the quota. Right. And there's an interesting tale about that, which I am not the one to tell, but one of the problems when the School of Journalism got started was that it had lots of women from Barnard in it. And the dean came along, and he didn't want all those women. He didn't want to educate all those women. He didn't think they were going to get jobs.
They're all going to get, or they're going to get married and have children and stay home.
That's right. That's right. Go arrange the children's day.
So your first job was at the Herald Tribune?
My first newspaper job was at the Herald Tribune.
But it wasn't your first job?
No, I had been working as a social worker. On the Lower East Side.
Oh, so when you finished journalism school, you were a social worker, or you were a social worker and then you went to...
social worker in the summertime. I did,
So you graduated from journalism school, then you went...
To the Herald Tribune.
To the Herald Tribune.
I was in the women's department, which was on the 9th floor. It was a whole different world up there.
And the Herald Tribune, you just had a big reunion.
They did. It was the 40th... The 40th year since the paper folded in 1966.
What was special about that paper?
I think there were two things about it, I think, that were special, and a lot of this came out at the reunion. One was that they really wanted good writing. They were not concerned with people who would write a lot of stuff or long stories, but they wanted writing that would sparkle. So you have people like Red Smith, you have people like Homer Biggert. You have people like Irita Van Doren, who was the book editor. You have people who really were stylists, who were good writers. John O'Reilly had an annual story he used to write about what the winter was going to be like, measured in the terms of the woolly bear stripes, you know, those caterpillars. Yeah. And it was a story you watched for every year because you wanted to hear about the woolly bears from John O'Reilly. Right. So that was the first thing, was that they had wonderful writers and they had beautiful typography, of course.
It was a large paper like the Times.
It was a broadsheet like the New York Times. So the New York Times is going to be shrinking, so it's going to be a halfway measure between the broadsheet and the tabloid. Who knows? But the other thing I think about it was that because it proceeded, when the Reeds owned it, it proceeded through Mrs. Reed, Helen Rogers Reed's hands, from her husband who died through to 2 sons. Mrs. Reed was a kind of a feminist, and she was perfectly prepared. If it was a talented woman, by God, she was going to have the job. She was going to do it. Yeah. And so you have a foreign correspondent like Ruth Gruber, who I think is now 95 years old, and she was off to Alaska and Russia and places where ordinary people didn't go, and she was doing it for the Herald Tribune.
It's amazing.
It is astonishing in a lot of ways. Right.
They had a couple of other writers, too.
They had a few, yeah. They had a guy named Breslin later on, but just a kid, though.
Right. And Tom Wolfe.
Tom Wolfe, yes. Yeah. Tom Wolfe came to the reunion wearing his full regalia and his spats, indeed.
Now, even though Mrs. Reed was a feminist and the paper was tolerant of women, what happened to you?
Well, I got pregnant. And they discovered that they weren't prepared to pay for a maternity leave for this young editor-reporter, so I was fired.
So amazing.
Well, it's interesting because in a way it saved me a lot of exertion. I always knew where my politics were from there on. If it wasn't possible to have a job where you were going to be able to support your child adequately, my husband was making $50 a week. I was making $62.50 a week, and you can just picture what our budget looked like after I lost that job. I thought, you know, the world ought to be better organized.
Did you fight it at all?
Well, I went in and I said, you know, is this, yes, it's legitimate. You're the last one in the department. They're cutting the department by 1 person, and guess who?
Now, you said you were both a reporter and an editor.
Yes, I was.
Let's explain that, because I think a lot of people don't understand the different roles in a paper.
I think that's unquestionably true. The Herald Tribune had a lot of extra material that went into their Sunday supplement, which was then called This Week magazine. Later it was New York magazine, which became independent and outlived its parent in a way. But in order to get this material into This Week magazine, into the Sunday supplement, somebody had to edit it. Somebody had to look and say, the cake has no flour, all of these important questions that have to be decided. So I did that, but it didn't take up much of a week. So I trudged around and found stories that I enjoyed writing.
And then later on, though, you went and became really an editor.
I did. That was what I had hoped to be when I got out of the School of Journalism, because my professors had said, gee, you really are a terrific editor. You should go be an editor. And I would say, fine, you work for the New York Times. Can you hire me? They'd say, well, no. Not really. It was this problem. They just didn't hire women for that.
All right, let's come back to that in a minute. So you had your baby, but you went back to work.
I did go back to work. I went to work for Scripps Howard, which is where I met the estimable Jimmy. And we both had young children then. He had a pair of twins, and I had a little boy, and periodically we would discuss the problems of falling over toys in the dark.
Yeah. But I'm sure you had more knowledge of the whole thing than he did, as far as the children.
I don't know. He seemed pretty knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. I think
having twins was a trauma for that family.
So I think that there are probably not enough people to go around, and you have twins.
He says his sister-in-law used to hide. If she went past the house, she'd crunch down and go under the hedges or something so they wouldn't see her. Scripps Howard then had the World Telegram and Sun?
It had the World Telegram and Sun. It had United Press Pictures, it's UPI Pictures, and United Press, and something called NEA Service, the Newspaper Enterprise Association. which had had a great coup early in the 30s when they got the exclusive rights to everything about the Dion quintuplets. And I think that Jim and I were still being paid on the royalties from Dion quintuplets paper dolls or something.
So interesting.
Fabulous amounts of money those kids generated.
They were, I remember them. We grew up with them and with the two princesses in England, right?
That's right.
They were always the role models for us.
Good night, children. Good night, children.
And then you landed up at the Times.
I finally made my way to the Times.
As an editor.
As a copy editor. And they were really in such a state of chaos, they didn't know what they were going to do.
Why?
Well, first of all, there were spittoons in the city room, and spittoons were going to go. Unfortunately, they elected the week I arrived to remove them.
You mean that's where the men spit?
Where they spit their tobacco.
Tobacco,
yes.
they were chewing tobacco.
You know, things that are horrible noise that kind of makes your flesh
start
crawl.
again. A reporter has a story.
Ah, yes, I'm sorry. I'm not giving a good explanation.
No, it's all right. No. A reporter has a story. They go out and do a story. Did they really call in and say, copy?
No,
they didn't do like the movies. All right.
I mean,
so they came back.
Never like the movies.
Right.
In the movie, the editor says to the reporter, "Here's your headline."
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can't do it that way.
Right.
You have to write the story to find out what the story is, and then write the headline.
So the reporter writes it.
The reporter
types it on a typewriter.
The reporter may type it on a typewriter after coming back in from seeing the fire, or hearing what the mayor has to say, or asking the member of the council what she plans to do next. Or the reporter may call from a telephone and may be given something called rewrite.
Right, give me
which
rewrite.
is, 3 or 4 people sitting here with
and you dictate.
Telephones. Not really dictate, I'm out here, Jimmy, and I've got a lot of smoke around here. Where are you, Joe? Just tell me where you are, and on down the line. No cell phones.
So rewrite would then write it.
Write the story from what the reporter was explaining.
And who got the byline?
Normally speaking, at the Times, the person who was out in the field got the byline. But sometimes there was a tip point, and there were reporters who didn't know how to write at all. There were City Hall reporters. There were not really illiterate, but versed on it.
But you couldn't have a reporter today that couldn't write.
I don't think so.
Even if they wrote in a boring
I don't think so. I don't think that a
there is no rewrite, is there anymore?
There is rewrite, but I don't think a newspaper today, for instance, Bob McFadden, who recently got a Pulitzer Prize, is a rewrite.
That's right, yeah.
And he will sit here and he will have everything from every place about an event. I don't know if he spreads out paper on his table anymore. Right. I mean, maybe he pulls it up on the computer. He's wonderful. He's wonderful.
So then you come in and you type it. This is the old days. You type it.
Yeah, right. You and I are moving back and forth.
Right,
through
we're back and forth.
And out again and through generations.
And you type it, and you typed it original. How many carbons?
Well, 10 on some cases.
They come in a package, right? They'd be on a pad and you'd tear it off?
In a paper like the New York Times, it was made with carbon books, in there, so it was all held together. At the Post, they would take copy paper, which was a free good. It's the leftover ends of the big reels of newsprint. And they would tuck the carbons in there and then fold them over to hold them in position. And they were called copy books.
So then the copy, all right, so it's written.
It's written.
And then it comes to the copy desk.
Get me off the details. Get me back to where I'm going.
It comes to the copy desk.
Yes.
And the copy desk was historically like a horseshoe?
Horseshoe, exactly. This is a drawing of the Herald Tribune sometime around 1948.
Right. So this is the guy here who gets the original copy.
And he was called the slot man, and there weren't any women doing that, so nobody questioned.
So that was an important job because he decided which editor was going to edit
which story. And as the cadence picks up toward the deadline, he's going to have to push this desk so it gets it all through that aperture at the moment.
And he got paid more than the other guys?
Indeed.
Okay. And then you said there's a slot here.
No, this is there's a slot in the center, and that's where the slot man is sitting.
Oh, I see.
And he's
that's
also
the slot,
known as the dealer. It looks a little like a gambling table, and the dealer will distribute the stories about, and the stories will come into the dealer being distributed by copy boys.
And then each editor would then work with the paper with a pencil.
A pencil.
A black pencil, you said?
A black pencil, an eagle pencil.
And
an eraser.
An eraser. So they would edit that way.
That's right.
As compared to today, where it's all done on a computer.
That's right.
Where there must have been discussion and some noise. I mean, in a newsroom.
A lot. And that was the interesting part to me about going to work on the copy desk at the Times, because I had never worked on a real copy desk before. I had worked in solitary. And that was that the cadence, what's a 5-letter word for?
Yeah.
Not people doing crossword puzzles, but people fitting headlines.
Yeah.
And everyone is cooperating, and everybody stops and tries to look for a 5-letter word for.
And then would you refer to the Times style book?
Had to refer to the Times style book. How are you going to spell theater?
E-R-R-E,
right, exactly. How are you going to deal with whether somebody is Mr. or Mrs.? We're not going to discuss.
And what did they say to women?
Could you tell us, please, Mrs. Eldridge, if you are married? Mrs. Eldridge would say, yes, I am, but that's not my name. And then they would say, Miss Eldridge? And this went on and on and on. The Times was really the last one to get on board with Ms.
So interesting. Now, the other thing about a newsroom, not only was the noise from talking and all of that, but the typewriters.
Yep.
And the cigarette smoke.
The smoke.
Cigarette smoke.
Fierce.
Did you smoke?
I did smoke.
Yeah.
The dry cleaning bills were just humongous.
And we never thought about it either.
I don't think we did. It was extraordinary, because I remember when smoking was outlawed at the Times, which was before it went in a lot of other public places and private places, I suddenly discovered that when I went into the office, my nose didn't run the way it used to run, and that I didn't consume, vats of tissues like this, and my clothes stopped smelling peculiar. So or as somebody said, all these restaurants are going to go out of business if they can't smoke. Right now they can smell the food. They eat twice as much.
So recently, a couple of weeks ago, the Newsweek magazine had its annual women's issue.
Yes.
Now, why do they have an annual women's issue?
Well, I think it was part of the agreement that arose out of the suit that the Newsweek women brought against their management back in the 70s, which was contemporaneous with a number of other suits.
Including the New York Times, which is what I really wanted to discuss.
You're coming around this table pretty subtly there, Ms. Eldridge.
But women were beginning to understand finally and say this is enough.
It was extraordinary. I mean, certainly we have Betty Friedan, and she had a big effect, and Simone de Beauvoir, I think, did too. But I think it took a long time for women in these jobs to understand that they weren't really Goldilocks coming in and sitting down in somebody else's seat.
They weren't so lucky to have this job.
They had the job.
Right.
They were doing the job, and by and large, they were doing it pretty darn well.
Right.
And were suffering the vicissitudes of starting at the bottom, having the bad shifts, working strange hours, not seeing your family on the weekend, and that they were entitled to progress up.
Was the Times the first suit? Which was the first suit?
Hard to say first, and second.
Yeah.
The Newsweek suit was already starting to work toward its settlement. I think when we began ours, you had the sit-in at the Ladies' Home Journal. You had the AP suit, which was immensely complicated because people working for the Associated Press, which is a news service, were scattered all over the country. They didn't meet each other till after it was all over.
So did you discover that the women were getting paid less?
The women were getting paid less.
And they weren't being promoted?
And they were getting to a certain level and not getting any further than that. They were really not. They were getting baffled, and they'd move sidewise, but they still couldn't do it.
So how did you organize this at the time?
We wrote down endless lists. We made 3x5 cards with everybody's name on them. And we changed the color of the card as to whether we had talked to them, or they had talked to us.
It's like the unions nowadays with their check. You know, they have a card check.
That's right.
And they want to put everybody on a card. Right. It's interesting.
Well, we didn't write anything down.
So did you have a hard time recruiting women?
We did not have a hard time. Some women did not want to participate in this kind of thing. Some women, as one of my friends said, were so much, you know, white glove and little hat. They just they wanted to be good girls. Yeah. But there was a huge emotional reaction when groups of women would get together and would talk about what had happened. And they would say, "You mean it wasn't just me? Yes. You mean it wasn't just something that happened special to me when I walked past him?" You know, there was a lot of bottled up
and the age of consciousness raising. It became a whole incredible thing to find out that you weren't alone.
It was just huge.
So you hired an attorney, Harriet Rabb?
Yes, she was assistant dean at the Columbia Law School, and there was some money coming in, so we didn't have to pay for a lawyer. It was, I think it was through the Model Cities program, but it was what the Department of Justice wanted was they wanted young lawyers coming out of school to be educated in employment rights in this new Title VII, which nobody knew about. It's like constitutional law. We're going to have to take you through this. Right. So Harriet got some money to run a seminar up at the Columbia Law School, and the students who were in the seminar
did
the case. And we would see them graduate, and new ones would come in, and the years would go by.
How many years was it? You were the lead plaintiff.
I was, by accident of alphabet, I was the lead plaintiff. But there were 7 of us who carried the burden.
Because you didn't have the name Wade. I mean, it was Boylan.
It was my payroll name, because they had to look into payroll records, and my name on the payroll was my husband's name, which alphabetically was.
Why was it on the payroll on your husband's name?
Damned if I know.
When you think about it now, it's so ridiculous.
No, of course not. I have no idea. But when they hired me at the Times, they wanted to be very sure that I was married. They did not want loose women coming down there amongst all of these men and working on the copy.
And you had 2 children already?
I had 1, and then I had another one.
Oh, you had at the Times.
A Tribune child and a Times
But you didn't get fired at the Times?
No, they gave me 6 weeks off without pay.
Was that
wonderful.
Before the settlement?
It was before the settlement.
So they had a maternity policy, so you can take 6 weeks off, but we're not going to pay you.
That's right.
Right. So how many years did it take to settle this case?
We went into court in 1974, and it was settled in 1978.
So that's not so bad when you think about it.
Piddling 4 years and 2 years before that while we were organized.
And you had women from every department?
That was our intended policy, and we carried it forward. In some cases, they only wanted women from the news department, but we were not that way. The biggest bulk of women at the Times were the 300 women who worked in classified ad sales. Hello, my name is Ronnie Eldridge. I wanted to find out if you wanted to place an ad for your house. You know, hard
and they got
work.
paid practically nothing.
And they couldn't even use their own names for a long time. If their name was Weinstein, they couldn't use their name. So one of our early plaintiffs.
Is that why Abe Rosenthal's initials were A.M. Rosenthal? Well, that's a nice story too. You were on. You eventually spent most time on the foreign desk?
I guess I was in travel news longer. I was 14 years in travel news.
Did you ever become a dealer?
I was a dealer.
Oh,
I was the head of the foreign desk for the Vietnam War.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that must have been exciting. And you played a very important role in Pentagon Papers. We're getting near the end of this interview, so we got to talk fast. Pentagon Papers. You were the foreign.
I wasn't very important, no, but I was one of the many who worked on editing the papers at the Hilton Hotel.
That must have been interesting.
I was wonderful. They had a young kid who later became quite notable, who would spend the night in that hotel suite so that the papers wouldn't be disturbed. I said, Bobby, don't you want to go out and have a date? He says, yeah, that'd be great. I said, I'll sleep with the papers tonight. So that was my great night.
That's so great. So that was recently discussed because of all the leaks now and the looking around and everything else, and it's such a relevant kind of thing. You then went to travel, and you used to write where you take your family. That's what I always remember. And you did economic traveling advice, right?
Well, it was called The Practical Traveler, and people would say, "Oh gosh, I'd love to be a travel writer. I'm so eager to write about Bora Bora." And I'd say, "I'm writing about the dog ate my passport, or I leave in the morning." You know how things really go wrong.
Did you really travel that far and that much?
I traveled a great deal in large circles.
Yeah.
I cannot say I went out and never came back. But I did go to Oklahoma City and spent a lot of time with the Federal Aviation Administration. So I learned a lot about safety and what makes safety.
Were you there when Dick Whitkin was there?
Yeah.
I remember him. He was great for us in '68 when we were doing all the anti-war and Dump Johnson stuff. He was a receptive reporter for us. Anna Quinlan.
Now you're telling.
Yes, now I'm telling. Anna Quinlan in Newsday said, "Each of us rose on the shoulders of women who had come before us. Move up, reach down. That was the motto of those worth knowing." And that's really what people like you have been.
But I think she is so terrific, because she is terrific no matter where she comes from or what she does. And I think of myself as a young person, and I don't think I really realized that there were people like Emma Bugby who had done such hard, difficult work for so long.
So do we now find women on equal footing in the newspaper business?
I think we find women every place that there are jobs, and they are doing them. But I do not, I mean, for instance, the managing editor of the New York Times now is a woman. She is our older son's classmate from high school.
Oh,
that's
boy.
how long it takes. But she's terrific, and I think she's doing very well. But she knows, I'm sure, as I knew, that it will be someone the age of her child, probably, who will get to the executive editor, or unless, of course, you inherit the paper, which is
But that's happening less and less now, isn't it?
I think
Papers are less personal.
I think they're much more corporate holding, and you look at the guy out in Los Angeles who's trying to save the jobs, and whoop,
and he's out.
Off with his head.
Right. So are we getting the news that we used to get? If you were on the foreign desk now?
I don't think we are. What do you think?
I don't think so either. I think we would see something different, no?
I feel bad about it, because I think people don't want to read bad news, and a lot of the news is awful bad. When
is the Times going to, I hope very soon, the Times will revise its retirement policy, and people like you will stay at the New York Times forever?
But, I could have stayed forever. I was way past 70 when I took a buyout.
All right, well.
No, I figured nobody knew the punchlines to the jokes anymore.
So, Betsy Wade, thank you very much for the reminiscence and the observation, and I'm so thrilled that your enthusiasm still endures. Thank you.
Ronnie, thank you.
If there are any people you'd like to hear and topics you'd like us to explore, please let me know. You can write to me at CUNY TV, 365 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10016, or you can go to the website at cuny.tv and click on Contact Us. I look forward to hearing from you.